The OG Xbox, a console that brought us the original Halo, Jet Set Radio Future, Fusion Frenzy, Blood Wake, plenty of household classics. But it also gave us a lot of stinkers that we are going to look at today. The 10 worst rated according to Metacritic. Is it a good list? A bad list? We'll take a little look, see if they're worthy enough for the streets, and hopefully we can get entertained by whatever amazing games are on here. And you know it's gonna be good when Drake of the 99 Dragons is the first thing we play, having a rating of 22. I'm sure everyone watching knew it was gonna be here somewhere. Drake of the 99 Dragons is infamous in the gaming lexicon of being one of the worst things of all time. I've never played it before, but let's see if anything good can come of this. You can start with or without the tutorial. I of course started with it so I can get a little appetizer of what I'm going to be dealing with, and I immediately could tell we're in for something good with these controls. You are locked into whatever direction you press when jumping, making it hard to move around and shoot, like I presume the game will want me to be doing constantly. The part that makes this situation even better is that you always need to be moving the camera yourself. It doesn't automatically reorient to where you are facing or lock onto an enemy. The control just appears to be a different beast. When I'm losing in the tutorial, that's when my anxiety starts kicking in because I haven't even bitten into the full cookie yet. When I inevitably did finish it, I finally got to hear Drake open his mouth, or speak rather. His mouth didn't move when he was talking. It sounds like one of those voices that's trying way too hard to be cool.
Intruders in the penthouse of the 99 Dragons clan? You must be out of this world to get past our guards.
Well, actually, he might be cool because he does slide into this room and kills everyone in here with his mind. Oh no, they took the artifact of something and we need to get it back. For some reason, the first mission is 3. I guess the tutorial counted as 2 missions. Don't lose track of the ghost assassin. Hit the checkpoints before the time is up. Will do. This is just a random side note. I don't know why games always need to have time limits, especially when they add nothing. I get here, they want you to be running around, shooting everyone, murdering families, blowing up stuff at the almighty amphetamine pace. To me, it just adds another worry when there's already enough problems I have on my plate as it is. While I was going through the all-famous 99 Dragons dojo, VR troopers kept flying in from different angles, eating me up, and I couldn't even tell when I was hitting them or not. The little icon when Drizzy is aimed at them is barely visible, so I'm sitting there squinting, planting my face against the screen just to see it. My choice is either that or hope for the best. Alas, I finished my quest. I casually stroll into a room, see myself dead on the floor next to my master. Nothing unusual. Then we start going into wacky territory with Drake having a meltdown about something. His tattoo turns red. We then transport to a dream dimension with that same old man playing drums on my tit. It's a very strange situation. All I'm waiting for now is Gwyneth Paltrow to come out and tell me this is the hidden cure for depression. Apparently, the ritual, or whatever it was, gave Drake the ability to be revived after death, essentially, at least to my understanding. And what I need to do now is get 30 souls to empower myself. Was it fun? No. As I predicted in the beginning, moving and shooting is pretty difficult with the control scheme we got here, but this level was finished because I don't really have a choice, and to celebrate the accomplishment, this mongoloid jumps out the window and fucking kills himself. Why does he do it? I have no idea. We then appear inside of an ethereal garden, getting scolded by these 3 creatures, and I honestly don't blame them. Rip this guy a new asshole for what he just did. They gave me a new body so I can return to the real world, where I see one of the VR troopers handing off the artifact from earlier to a strangely built man that I need to chase and take his new toy away. I was just sitting here chasing him through these small corridors, buildings, wherever, and I stared off into space trying to catch this guy, thinking to myself, imagine being a kid. Your friend is telling you all about how he's playing Halo Combat Evolved and how awesome it is, but your parents got you this. Surely that's when you find out life is not fair. I obviously died from a bunch of explosions while I wasn't paying attention, and best of all, each time you die, the game makes you wait 10 seconds with these Dollar General Elder Gods talking down to you. My guess is that this was supposed to be funny. Unfortunately, it didn't come off that way. Instead, it's incredibly annoying. It just takes away from the game. Or actually, maybe it's not that bad. It's still annoying though. You need to go through a loading screen, listen to this, and then go back to another loading screen. Now you're back in the game. Like, imagine if you were watching a movie or whatever, and periodically everything just stops and the movie shows you an apple. Like, yep, it's an apple. It might be red, it might be green, and you just sit there waiting. Unless it's one of those caramel apples from the carnival, nobody wants that shit. With the smoothest moves on planet Earth, I caught up to the evil bad man. Drake starts running his mouth, and I fucking dare any one of you to decipher what he says here.
But you can't hide. A fireworks factory is a good place to go if you want to go out with a boom.
Bitch, can you speak up? And the fun doesn't stop there, because this next level here is all about parkouring, a piece I haven't really mentioned much since I try my best to avoid doing it. With the very stiff jumping I mentioned in the beginning, combining that with always needing to move the camera, pulling parkour off reliably is incredibly difficult unless you sit there spamming the A button, hoping for the best, which is exactly what I did to ascend this area. After one of the most bizarre endings to a level I've ever seen, our stalwart hero dies again. These guys run their mouths about how stupid you are, give me another body, and tell me to be careful. Something that's easier said than done, because you die so goddamn fast in this game. You can lose 50 to 60% of your health before you even realize what's going on. This level's filled with enemies galore, so you need to constantly be moving around so you don't get killed. It can get pretty hairy. Unfortunately, I wasn't born with 6 fingers on my right hand to make this combat as smooth as possible. Bob, forgive me. But I did persevere, and my journey of level 7 brought me to a bunch of dogs. They were on my ass, knocking me around everywhere. I couldn't turn the camera fast enough to shoot them. Their handler, or whoever this guy is, he's lacing me with bullets, and I'm dead before I can even figure out what's happening. This was the second time I died throughout the whole game, and whenever it happens, you need to redo the entire level over. Love to see it. So I continued to battle my way through, making it to this boss repeatedly. And people are always talking about like God or Jesus, whoever, when referring to a higher power. Why is no one talking about Drake of the 99 Dragons, level 7 shirtless man? Even when I kill the dogs before they eat my ass out, this guy just doesn't die. First off, I can't even tell if I'm dealing damage to him. No health bar during a boss battle is a brainiac move for sure. He's just doing the splits. I'm shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and nothing. Is it bugged? I entered the gladiatorial laboratory for a half hour straight to take this guy on, and the torment wouldn't end. On top of me struggling to survive the battle, you're also dealing with a one-way ticket to carpal tunnel trying to move, ensure your aim is on this guy, and shoot all at the same time. Like, buddy, I'm not gonna battle a man who's clearly invincible. My heart can't take stuff like this. I have 9 more games I need to get to that probably won't make me very happy, so I don't need to battle a character who is every mythological creature wrapped into one. I really said fuck that and rage quit. Look, talking about a game like this is pretty difficult, at least in a short bite. Trying to not repeat what has been said 10 million times is really tough to do. Unfortunately, the controls need to be repeatedly mentioned since it's the aspect that really ruins the entirety of this game. It's borderline unplayable sometimes. I've also heard this game is incredibly glitchy, like having game-breaking bugs, which I don't think I ran into any, sadly. All I can say is this is definitely a game I'm going to be returning to. It's one of those I finish on stream or drink gasoline type games. The thing I find really strange about this whole situation though, is that Drake of the 99 Dragons has a re-release on Steam. I'm not sure if it's better than the original. It's just kind of weird anyone would want to bring this back. Maybe it has a cult following. I guess I'll find out after posting this when I receive the "you didn't do this, you didn't do that, insert damage control," or maybe a classic
"Hey, whatever, I hope your family dies in an automobile wreck"
comment because I made fun of it. How exciting that will be. But you know what's even more exciting than Drake of the 99 Dragons and death threats? Racing. Pulse Racer having a score of 24. I don't know why, but when I look at the cover, it gives me a very strong feeling of worry. Maybe it's foreshadowing something. Right when I open the game, we get to see a guy who looks exactly like the lab assistant from Crash Bandicoot, except he's in a Max Steel looking ass suit. Pulse Racer has a hard selection of characters, This guy right here has tank treads for legs. Crazy. You can change the color of your characters too, and even change the color of your car. We only have 3 at our fingertips. I picked the fast acceleration one, as you should, named myself Fat, and we're off to the races. Yep, we're racing. To my understanding, Pulse Racer is supposed to be like a kart racer type game, one we don't have weapon pickups in, or even the ability to drift. We just drive and drive and drive. I got a bronze medal for my first race, if that counts for anything. You know what's even better though? The second track looks exactly the same as the first one, but there's a real cinnamon twist this time. We have weapon pickups. Is this real? Like, is Pulse Racer a real game you could buy in a store? This is one of the most bare bones games I've ever seen. I was grinding my life away, playing race after race after race, and every track looks exactly the same. Sure, the layout is different, according to the map at least, but you're just driving in a futuristic metro tunnel for all eternity. No ramps, jumps, anything. Who needs variety? Fucking get rid of it. Pave the way for the future. It appears their attempt of trying to spice up the gameplay is by giving you a built-in speed boost. That's why the lifeline thing is up there. According to the Lorios, each character's heart is connected to their automobile, and if you turbo too much, you have like a mini heart attack. If only we had this in real life, I think accidents across the United States would decrease tenfold. This mechanic obviously adds nothing tangible to the gameplay loop. What really makes your experience good though, has to be when you get hit by a projectile and your car just spins around, facing you in a completely random direction afterwards. You can't control it, and it can fuck up the entire race for you. Pulse Racer released in 2002. We had a handful of Need for Speed games, Gran Turismos, things like Diddy Kong Racing, Mario Kart, Crash Team Racing, Hooters Racing, then you have this. It took me 7 races to reach a track that looks different. Obviously it was still flat ground, no jumps, depth, or anything, but 7, just for an aesthetic difference. What even? If you're a real one from the streets, you'll remember when we talked about Doomsday Racers by Phoenix Games. Even that had more variety with visuals. And when someone can say Phoenix did anything better than another game, that right there is proof there is no higher power. If only Batman was here to save the day. Well, actually he's here, I don't know about saving the day, but Batman Dark Tomorrow having a score of 25. I believe someone has told me about this before, never really looked into it, but it's Batman. How can you ruin this guy? The opening cutscene looks sorta promising. We see people getting shot at, people are stealing stuff, building the dark atmosphere this guy is known for. Look at Batman driving his Batmobile. It gives hope. That is crushed instantly when we get a teaser of gameplay. Our opening cutscene ends with Batman confronting burglars, and we're just tossed in. A couple small punches, you can barely figure out what's going on, boom, back to cutscenes again. I could definitely smell rot from that, but I couldn't truly inhale it all until I appeared on this rooftop. This game's like a fucking Viagra, dude. I'm running around trying to figure out the controls, my camera angle keeps changing, I attempt to use my rigor mortis leg powers to jump across the gap to the other building, and I fall. Are those supposed to be city lights? Those little puff balls? Is this for real? This picture, this moment right here is when I figured out I think I have bitten off more than I can chew. After killing myself multiple times, I finally discovered, bat cable let me swing. What is it attaching to? Nothing. I swing on the air, butt against the wall, and just hang there. Or levitate because his hands aren't even holding the rope. I can't believe I never heard of this years ago. This is one of those moments where your life flashes before your very eyes. Everything you know is nothing compared to this. It really speaks for itself what kind of game we're looking at right now. Some people would turn it off in disbelief, but I can't. I need to see what combat is like. I got stuck on this Mario-ass segment for 15 minutes, repeatedly dying while trying to get across the buildings thanks to the stiffness, but it will all be worth it in the end. And here we are, Batman vs. Payday 2 DLC in the streets, 3-on-1, they have guns, I don't. I keep punching them, and punching them, and punching them, and nothing. Are we pulling a Catwoman PS2 where we play a superhero game, not able to beat people up? It's either that, or these guys can't die. So goodbye, that's enough fighting for today. Unfortunately, there's no winning for me in this scenario because I need to battle the camera angles now. They keep changing every few steps for no reason. The camera will get closer, then further away, then closer. Now I can't see myself. And please don't tell me this was some sort of idea to be cinematic. I see we have the black bars, James Somerton, make pretend theater hogwash going on. This shit is not cinema. Right here, I try walking down the stairs, the camera angle switches and warps me over to the next walkway, where I head towards these enemies, get blown up by a bomb with no indication there was one. Now I'm fighting and can't even see myself. If we remove the tutorial, I'm only 5 minutes in and I'm already speechless. You're in a constant struggle against everything. Was that the idea? Gotham City is so dark and evil, there's no safety anywhere, not even with game mechanics. Not only that, but fighting enemies is almost impossible half the time. You die so fast while trying to kill people. And after a bit of experimentation, I found out to quote-unquote kill the enemies, you need to handcuff them. At least it's better than Catwoman PS2, but why? What's wrong with Batman just spiking their head against the pavement and beating people up normally? Putting handcuffs on enemies is also tougher than it sounds. They need to be on the ground, but if you're getting shot at by other guys, they can stun you out of the animation. So if you thought like, oh, I'll go knock the other guy on the ground and take care of him instead, that previous guy you were just fighting that was on the ground will get back up and possibly create a never-ending cycle. It's just fucked. But honestly, you don't even need to fight anyone, which is hilarious to me. You could just run straight past them. This is like a fucking Three Stooges skit. Batman's goofy-ass running animation stomping away from the criminals. The overseers of Gotham City must have known players would try doing that, so they try their best inserting 400 different camera angles all throughout the roads for you to deal with. It's one of those situations where if you hold up to go forward, then the camera swaps, you're still holding up, but moving left on the screen. So you need to fix yourself to move in the direction you want to be moving in. The control is just impossible to deal with. Especially when that camera swapping shit happens during combat because it can get you killed. If I really had to pick my favorite part of the game though, it would probably be these moments where there are like 7 enemies all grouped up. You can't kill them by normal means, so you need to just hope they will be like this other guy and watch all of his friends get arrested. Or handcuffed with assault rifles still in their hands, whatever. There just isn't much you have in your camp with this game. We do, of course, have tools in our arsenal, like batarangs, that puts us in a first-person view, but if you get hit, the game takes you out of the first-person view, adding more gasoline to the situation. Everyone you go against has guns, so naturally, they can shoot faster than you can throw a rang, meaning unless they just sit there and watch you throw one, it's not going to be fun trying to use it. After each continuous shocking moment, I did run into my first boss, Black Mask, and he's literally a Mortal Kombat Special Forces boss. You keep pressing one button, he gets stunned forever and dies. Or for some reason, I glitched inside of him and he took me down to the floor. This game is just so fucked up, it is unbelievable. If we didn't have a bunch of other games to get to, I would be honored to sit down and go through this whole thing. There's just that burning question of how much worse can it get? Batman Dark Tomorrow is one of the funniest bad games I've ever seen. Going by pure assumption, it must have had one of the worst development cycles known to man, with publishers coming in and whipping all of the developers on a daily basis or something. I refuse to believe it was people coming into a normal work environment creating this thing. I'm calling it now. There's no way anything on this list will top this game. It's not possible, no matter how notorious it could be. Not even Aquaman Battle for Atlantis, having a score of 26. Another game I'm sure you've heard of. I know I have. This game has been talked about to death. It's at the same level as Drake of the 99 Dragons in gaming culture. I've never played this either, so boy, am I excited. We have another character, apparently. I'm not sure who it is. What I can say for certain though is that the menu is unbelievably laggy. My inputs barely register for some reason. I ended up picking Aquaman because he's my only option, and the story opens up in a comic book fashion. Heihachi is warning Edge that something is coming. Atlantis is in danger, so we must enter Motion Sickness the video game to stop any and all heathens who oppose our aquatic village. Shockingly, the movement is quite fluid. It's a lot smoother than I expected. I feel like I'm really underwater while I'm on my way to rescue a bunch of Cody Griffins, a reference I doubt anyone will get. And my way of doing that is introducing Black Manta's men to the ocean floor. This is the place where the praise of silky smooth gameplay goes right out the window. Fighting is incredibly awkward. We enter this like lock-on fighting mode. DC's SpongeBob can only focus on one enemy at a time, and you're not allowed to switch who he's targeted onto. Not entirely sure why. Could they not find one button for us to do that with on this big ass controller? It's weird this thing is nostalgic to me, but also makes me sick at the same time. Thankfully in level 1, all the enemies you battle are courteous by sitting there to let you finish fighting their friend as they trickle in one by one. So 8 mermen saved, all done. And we are now torpedoing our way to more groups of soldiers trying to blow up our territory. When I mowed them all down with my fists, we get a combo. You know, that's cool, right? Not really. This is one of those classics where you can just press a single button the entire time and you're good. Until, whoa, something different. Underwater space battle. We are flying around in a little ship that starts making this feel like a game. It controls well enough, my enemies are dumb as shit, so you can assert your dominance with not much pushback to continuously conquer the lands of the ocean blue. I got these guys the fuck off my lawn, and can you guess what happens after I won? We start doing this again. This is essentially the entire game. Those underwater ship battles are very few and far between. As I said, Aquaman Battle for Atlantis is a notorious game, some calling it the worst game ever made, a sentiment that gets tossed around a lot, I see. But I think this stands as a guide of showing how there are two different kinds of bad games. One is like Drake of the 99 Dragons, where it's incredibly rage-inducing and frustrating to the point you want to swallow poison. And others like Aquaman, games that are just fucking boring. It obviously shares tropes that are found in almost every bad game. It has dollar store hoe mechanics, fighting is unreasonably stiff, with the combos adding nothing to the gameplay. When you can't even craft your own narrative experience for what you are doing throughout a playthrough, for it to come off as remotely engaging to even a child, that's pretty depressing. And forget about making your own story, the one we are given isn't gripping either. The comic book stuff is cool. I'm sure most people have used a page of one for masturbatory use at least once in their life. It fits the character, but I didn't run into one cutscene with actual voice acting or anything. You can't even make an excuse to play this for the story. Apparently this game has 21 levels. I couldn't even make it through half of them. The only recommendation I have is if you have trouble sleeping and no money to buy melatonin, this game will work for that easy. Stake Fortune Fighters, having a score of 26. I'm not even going to do any lead-in for this. Outside of 4-player action, obviously, like holy hype, dude. I've never been so enthralled when I looked at a cover art before. Like, I played this game and I just can't with it. We get a selection of anime-styled characters. I picked the Krillin dot forehead looking motherfucker over here, and this comes off as like a 3D Smash Brothers type game, I guess you could call it. We're blessed with 2 whole attacks with the ability to grab stuff on the ground, like a bomb that I almost killed myself with. I stumbled my way into the fight, as you do, instantly dead. Okay, I come back, start getting into the fray once more. Not sure if this character is just horseshit or what, but he's incredibly slow with every attack I do. You'd also figure my helicopter offensive ability would hit multiple times. Apparently not. I'm getting knocked around all over the place or hit by these unreal power moves that I myself don't know how to do. According to the menu, these here are my only actions. Regardless of what I press though, like a typical special move input, directional plus attack, pressing the attack buttons together, I can't harness the power of Christ and get instant kills like they can. You can't even block either. I'm just stuck in a pit of confusion of what is happening here, so I had to recuperate my mental after battle number 1. Fine. Test out another character. Spear Lady, going against dyed-haired Blanca and a cosplayer holding a Buster Sword. Even with a swap though, I feel like a wrestler from the 1980s. No matter the breath I take or the moves I make, everyone's always saying, that doesn't work for me, brother. I'm not kidding. I played this game for like 20-30 minutes and I didn't kill a single person, even on easy mode. You are just nothing but a pathetic worm the whole time you play this game. And yes, I'm sure there are people out there who only played using their Johnson, blindfolded, sliced all their fingers off as a 2-year-old, and were able to destroy the entire game on maximum difficulty while inebriated, and their families getting F5'd by Brock Lesnar in their living room, smashing them through fucking tables of nails for their entire play session. Unfortunately, I don't live the YouTube commenter life. It was rough for me, we'll put it that way. I was not happy, I did not have fun, I don't recommend you play this game at all, ever, one time. Stake is a game I went into not entirely understanding what I'm going to experience, and I left not knowing what happened. It of course suffers from the classics like bad hit detection, stiff controls, questionable choices like not being able to block in a game that has fighting in it, and this segment probably does feel half-assed, but I honestly don't even know how to express myself about this game. I'm just good. No thank you. If I'm not getting an hourly wage, I'm not playing it. That's it. So, Sneakers, having a score of 28. This is a game about mice. Our first cutscene introduces us to the family. One of the mice's name is Brutus, by the way. Never thought anyone would name a mouse that, but sure. All of our food is gone. Did your fat ass eat it, Apollo? Nope. Oh shit, there's a rat. He must have done it. Now we're on the chase, looking for 30 rats. You think that's enough? Jesus Christ, man. There are a bunch of different rooms we need to look around in, running on a fixed pathway, inspecting various items throughout our conquest. It's, really fucking boring. The only part that was remotely captivating is when you capture all the rats of one color, you have like a gang war, and beat their skull into the wooden plank floor. That's really the only interesting thing. Games are supposed to be like an engaging form of art, right? You try to craft a universe that would be entertaining to experience. Then what the fuck is this? Even if I swallowed an entire bottle of Adderall, I still wouldn't be able to focus on it. One, because I'd be dead, and two, just look at this. I was on the first level for over 20 minutes looking for rats. 10 to 15 would be enough. If there are really this many rats that took your food, just don't mess with them. Let them have it. There's like 5 of you. No one would blame you for holding up the white flag. I looked online out of curiosity, and apparently the entire game is just running around finding rats with the number increasing. No thank you. You know what's a good game involving mice though? Stuart Little on the PlayStation. Play that instead. Or you can play Crimelife Gang Wars. It doesn't have mice in it, but it's our first game to break a score of 30. It's already screaming sauce to me when I see a parental advisory picture immediately after turning the game on, the early 2000s too edgy for normal people logo. If it wasn't obvious enough by the name, cover art, and this opening cutscene, Konami, of all companies, was trying to emulate GTA. Typically that doesn't end well, and I'm sure this won't be any different. You can try hyping me up all you want with this whole drive by the basketball court, killing everyone trying to have fun moment here. It's not gonna work. If only they put 4-player action on the cover, that would have sealed the deal. Fucking amateurs over at Konami. So who is our protagonist of this illustrious story? That's me, Playa. And I need to impress the outlaws, huh? Spelt with a Z? Spelling words with a Z must be what all those hooligans do, right? When the game starts, immediately I'm beating on a guy named Furious. He's acting as my tutorial, and I love how exaggerated everything is. Playa is like Jake Conway before Jake Conway, the cinematic demon during any and all scuffles. I of course take this guy down, but we were just playing. Now we're being introduced to the gang, Trey, which is me. So why were they calling me Playa while introducing me in the loading screen? We got Daryl, fucking Diesel. With our tutorials and introductions out of the way, we are now released into the wild. And you may be wondering why there are a bunch of red squares and lines all over the ground. Sadly, this was the only copy I could get my hands on. This strange blind old man was dishing out games in an alleyway behind GameStop. He gave it to me for free, alongside a blank disc that has Sonic.exe written on it. Can't wait to give that a whirl later. Now, given that this is clearly some sort of GTA adjacent game, naturally I walk up to a car, try stealing it, but I can't. Yes, we're going to emulate GTA, but remove a part people love about it. All you can do is treat cars like a Street Fighter 2 minigame. Alright then, I guess I'll trudge my way to the next objective. These guys are running their mouths. M. Benz tries to intimidate me, so I broke his freaking neck. And I'm not sure if it's the creepypasta copy of the game or what, but I love how the entire color scheme goes negative whenever I do one of these executions. It just adds to the whole cinematic universe. Look at these moves Playa does. Next, I'll expect him to fucking twirl the guy around by his ankle and throw him across the planet. Playa's just a dominant force. Literally anyone can step to me, like Scrub, Gangsta, Homie. They'll all die, until I do. The flock of blue-shirted men became too much for even Playa to handle. You need to battle so many enemies at once in this game, it becomes almost impossible to deal with. Also, us not having anything outside of hand-to-hand combat to defend ourselves might have something to do with that. What happened to the whole grrr we saw in the intro cutscene? Shooting people playing basketball. Where's that? Did the gangs take over the entirety of the United States with just their caveman ooga booga powers? Sticks and stones will always triumph. The entire time I spent playing, I didn't run into a single firearm. All I can use are batons, knives, wooden planks, or other objects I can throw. And I'm sure there are guns in this game. It would be heresy to make a gang-related game with no guns in it. I'm just shocked I didn't see them at all. Maybe it's just my shitty luck. As I was sauntering through the darkness, doing my missions, following the red dots on my map, I reached a new area called Blingsley Hills. I had an objective to do something, but I don't care. I'm gonna rob a house. Might as well give a lesson to society. Leave your door open while Playa's in the neighborhood, all your shit's gonna disappear. If you try sticking around, you're gonna have a fat dental bill. Unfortunately, after I performed my obligations of terrorizing the local villagers, I died, and everything I just did was gone. My cash, everything, forcing me to restart from the beginning of Blingsley Hills. I learned on my third go, robbing those places is not even the primary objective, so what's the point of doing all that? It wouldn't be that big of a deal normally, but this area is a long stretch of hogwash. I need to battle so many cops in a game that doesn't even have health pickups. The only way you can get your health back is by these food trucks or going to a restaurant to purchase food. There's no way for you to stock up and carry the food with you like a little med pack. You either need to be perfect here or stop everything you're doing and hope you can buy food without the cops or whoever killing you before you get it. Regardless, the establishment can't hold me back forever. I'm Playa. Victory is inevitable. I didn't get anything for finishing my mission, but I won. And after I completed the first few missions, I wanted to give the world a chance. It seems they give you the opportunity to see what kind of life is breathing in whatever this universe is called. What kind of life is it? None. There's nothing. There's nothing to do. You just run around the streets, beating up cops or gang members if they decide to come after you. You can't take cars, have fun with that. No interactions, no odd jobs. It's just nothing and boring. It is possible for like odd jobs and stuff to be unlocked as you go. The sandbox itself is just bland. It's experiences like Crimelife here, where that whole you can't appreciate something good until you look at something that is truly bad saying comes into play. It makes me, at least, start appreciating the little things GTA does to make the universes feel full of life. The small interactions, being able to do what you want, so to speak. Even in GTA 2 on PS1 before the series became 3D, I remember bringing that whole society to Pound Town on a regular basis, putting extended playtime into that thanks to them giving players extra things to do on top of the missions. It also having the charm, character, there was just so much of it. In Crimelife, all I can say I did was run down the sidewalk in-game and hope someone broke into my home and cracked my skull open against my desk while playing it. This game released in 2005, and we're getting a bar this low. If they were trying to make this like a more realistic game or based on true gang wars, whichever excuse is tossed in there, because I'm sure there's plenty, when it comes to talking about an older game, we all know how certain people can be. Crimelife just gets overshadowed by GTA, obviously, and other open world games. Also, a year after this, Saints Row came out. What Konami was trying to do here just didn't succeed. Maybe the story of Crimelife is good, I can't speak on that part. I doubt it, but you never know. Still wouldn't say the game is worth playing just for that, though. I unfortunately have more games to get to. Send me to prison, nail me to the cross, or even send RoboCop to blow my brains out for that. Speaking of Robert Kopp, RoboCop the video game, having a score of 30. Similar to Batman, he's one of those all-time classic characters, at least to me. The original movie was great. the killing and craziness. It was a fun time. So let's see what they could do with RoboCop on the hot new Xbox. The game gives us a few selections of cases to look at from 2010, 2013, you know, the future. This is all just behind the scenes lore stuff though. Not really interesting to me. I care more about the game. Yeah, not sure who decided to make the aiming controls inverted by default. Not gonna happen. Now that's better. And just like Aquaman, this game runs incredibly smoothly. With our Modern Warfare 2 G18, goddamn, who needs more firepower when you have this thing? It makes me as excited as this guy spinning around over here. As expected, with the robotic cop, we are role-playing as the anti-hero of society, trying to rescue a bunch of civilians scattered around the city, which is pretty easy, honestly. I feel like I'm invincible. I'm getting shot at from so many different angles and not even coming close to death. Like, look at this. If any mythological or ethereal being wants a taste, come to whatever town I'm in. They won't stand a chance. Nothing can stop me, unless I enter the sewer and the game crashes. I guess this proves you can't be on top forever. Technology will always find a way to stop you. Either that, or a giant rat. As I was exploring the sewers, opening doors, I entered this arena. Me versus a big rat. Locked in, nowhere to go, so I assume this rat needs to die, but how am I supposed to kill it when this thing's freaking the fuck out? I wasted every last bullet I had while this guy's preparing for liftoff, stuck inside of the room centerpiece. What is this? Is it a joke? When I got lucky with the rat exiting the secret location, I tried blowing it up with a barrel and killed myself. Apparently this is the only way to exit the chaos. Here is where I did learn though, when you die, the entire level needs to be restarted. And I love when games do this. Repeating everything you just did makes a game even more fun and engaging to play. Interestingly enough, repetition is what encapsulates the entirety of RoboCop. All you're really doing is just running around saving civilians, not allowed to leave the level until they are all rescued from this post-apocalyptic landscape. In my eyes, saving people should be secondary. From a gameplay standpoint, having to do this repeatedly is not really fun. Depending on the level, it can take you God knows how long to find them all. Like at the beginning of level 2. Should I admit how long I ran around like an idiot? No, I shouldn't, and I won't. And best of all, I got to listen to this the entire time.
There are civilians in your sector. You've got to get them out as fast as possible. There are civilians in your sector. You've got to get them out as fast as possible. RoboCop, there are civilians in your sector. You've got to get them.
Squeak, squeak, squeak from my legs, and every minute or so, that message will be repeated just in case you have the brain of a goldfish with a 6-second memory span. Thank you so much, Kenneth Scott. Roberts everywhere will thank you for your dedication to repeat yourself to this capacity. So far to me, the game seems quite tame for RoboCop. From memory, the movie is quite gruesome and violent. I figured we get to see RoboCop rip someone's heart out or something, but even when we get a weapon like the grenade launcher, it doesn't blow people to smithereens or anything. There's no gruesome nature whatsoever. And without that part being translated to the gaming world, this game comes off as very generic to me. If you got rid of the RoboCop name and called it like Roboman versus the World, no one would bat an eye towards it. I think having that over-the-top nature, so to speak, would have added a little bit of charm, also making it a bit more in line with the movie from a gameplay standpoint. I don't think this is the worst thing ever, burn in hell, biggest pile of poop the world has ever seen, which is shocking because Titus made this game, those same goofballs that brought Superman 64 into the world. RoboCop is more so one of those apathetically bad games. Like, after you play level 1, you've basically played the entire game. Even when you're not saving people, the combat itself is incredibly boring, thanks to the AI just being dumb as shit. The only moment any emotion came out of me was when I died far into level 2. I spent time looking for things, checking the level out, and needing to restart the entire level after dying was not really fun, and sort of ruined my interest in even wanting to play the game anymore. You really couldn't add checkpoints in a game that released in 2003. What I can say in defense of that though, is death doesn't happen very often, because again, the AI posed little to no threat to you. The only moments I died is when it was instantly. Wouldn't have it any other way. Fuck my life. Kabuki Warriors attaining a score of 32. And right away, when a company has a logo like this, That might be saying all I need to know. Genki, what is this? What we have here is a fighting game based in Japanese culture that gave me anxiety immediately. When I saw the 4-player, it made me worried, but thank heavens we aren't getting another steak fighter. I can't do that again. This is a traditional fighting game with some very interesting mechanics, I guess you could say. Instead of having a wide variety of characters, you create a team, and at the start, we only have one character, so my team is 3 of the same person. As we go through the game, we run into new characters. After winning, you trade one of your teammates for one of theirs. Like here, I traded one of my mannequin people for this guy who hotboxed the fuck out of his car, so now he's in my lineup. The system is very weird, but also unique. Does that translate to the gameplay? No, why would it? We are blessed with having the riveting game fundamentals of pressing one single button when it comes to attacking. I'm not joking. You press A to do regular attacks, or hold a directional and press A for some of the other moves each character has. The only other button is X, which blocks. That's all you can do throughout the whole game. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the original Mortal Kombat from 1992 had more to it than this game does. On top of that, the AI also behave strange. They don't really do anything aside from stand there letting you hit them with very minimal amounts of pushback. You can spam A and your other secret tactic of forward plus A with any character to beat the entire game. How do I know that? Because that's what I did. Each fight was incredibly easy. You need to win 2 out of 3 rounds as expected, but here, 1 round is one of your teammates, so you go down the line of your team after a round is over. But even when I never played as a character a single time, I always won by just pressing forward plus A. Throughout my playthrough, I only lost 1 round out of the 13 fights I did. Thankfully, each fight you finish gives you more money depending on how well you perform, so you can use that money to skip fights, meaning less gameplay time. They must have known how players would feel. I do like the aesthetic of Kabuki Warriors, but the game is so bare bones and has nothing to it. Every character feels the same, meaning every fight feels the same, and even the backgrounds are all essentially the same. Who wants variety? I know I don't. Like, you're telling me we couldn't fight in a Sakura garden or one of the many majesties of Japan? Instead, it's just a grade school auditorium forever? I don't know, just seeing a fighting game released in 2001 having less depth than ones that were created before the combo system became prevalent across the board is truly unbelievable. I doubt there are many people who could finish a playthrough, so I thankfully have entered the sacred few who have attained that trophy. That's my positive spin on it. Twirling myself right into Land of the Dead, Road to Fiddler's Green with a score of 32. I had no idea what the title was about until I saw the main menu. This game is based on a movie by George Romero. Never seen it, but hopefully I can get something good out of the game. Seeing the name George Romero gives some semblance of hope, and I think they did a decent job here building an atmosphere. You do feel that sense of isolation, the ability to search a bunch of stuff in the environment, grabbing your little crusty ass rifle, the claustrophobic field of view, the locations you're in. It all culminates to a great aura for this type of game, and that's where the praise ends, because the actual gameplay doesn't really make much sense and is not very good. First off, when you play a shooter game, not just a zombie game, you expect headshots to deal extra damage, so why are my headshots not doing anything? That's kinda shooter game 101, head equal dead. But I'm sitting here blasting these kids with my rifle and it's doing nothing. You're not giving me much ammo and no ability to kill the zombies in one shot, so it was looking hairy. In the starting area, I only got to kill 2 zombies before I ran out of ammo, and more are on the way. So you just need to avoid them until you can get another gun that takes 200 bullets to get 1 kill. Or you can pull out a hammer and start going to town. The one I have is pretty sad. It's 5 to 6 whacks to take one down. It took me a while. Luckily it worked though, and now I need to travel through the night to my neighbor's house with barely any ammo and that said sad hammer. I wanted to continue using my hammer to preserve ammo since it seems I need tons of it. Clearly that was a mistake, because if you're close to a zombie and they hit you, you get stunned and fall on the ground for an unreasonable amount of time. So if you want to do melee combat, you need to keep weaving back and forth for 10 years just to kill one zombie, hoping they don't hit you. And unfortunately, melee combat seems to be the only logical thing for me to do unless I want to use all my ammo to get 2 kills. The zombies just have so much health, it's insane. And I know you're thinking, well, it's a little hammer, it's supposed to be weak. Sure, but explain why the shovel's taking the same amount of hits to kill a zombie then. It's even slower and does no more damage. Like what? If you get cornered, you're just boned. They're just too powerful. So you know what? I'm just not fighting them anymore. I'm gonna go do my objective and call it a day. Cut that chain and go to my neighbor's house. And I love how his neighbor's mutilated and bloodied all over the couch when we get there. My character has no reaction to it and just turns on the TV. It appears the dead have risen from their graves and started eating the living. Dude, really? I couldn't tell. I just thought he had another strawberry jam bathing incident. What an unexpected twist in the story. But that twist pales in comparison to the one I got during the gameplay. As I said before, you cannot one-shot zombies in the head. I tried it numerous times. It can't be done. So why are they being one-shotted all of a sudden? After I died going down this street, I respawned a ways back and had to redo a section again, and it was so much easier thanks to me being able to one-shot the zombies. My first time going through here, I barely lived and had to go into the future playing Call of Duty zombies, training them all around so I didn't die because they were eating every bullet I shot at them. So is it a bug why they weren't dying instantly? These are the same zombies. I didn't run into any special types while playing. There's no distinguished heavy zombie or anything. And what happened after this is even stranger. I was going down the road again progressing, ran into a squad, now the zombies couldn't be one-shotted anymore. With headshots, we're back to everything taking 500 bullets to kill. So it has to be a bug. It's like the strangest thing I've ever seen. Land of the Dead goes from mind-numbing to play to feeling like a serviceable zombie experience whenever it feels like it, I guess. Regardless, I don't think this game is that bad. There's of course some back-ass stuff in here. If you're talking about game mechanics specifically, the melee weapons, why big and slower doesn't equal more power than faster small hammer will always be perplexing. And there's a possibility it could be a bug. I mean, who knows at this point, considering how meta-paused this game is. But it's a playable game when it works. I did want to play it more. Unfortunately, it kept crashing in the same spot and deleting my save file repeatedly, so I couldn't get as much game time as I wanted to. From what I experienced though, I like the environments and atmosphere, which makes sense for there being a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, being number 10 and all. When we talked about the worst rated PlayStation 1 games before, there were a lot more questionable games on that list, which is sort of expected. Older console, Metacritic not existing, it's more explainable. For the Xbox, the only games I could see someone swapping out is Land of the Dead, maybe RoboCop if you ride its meat that much, and if you really stretch it, Crimelife could be swapped out. The rest though were just straight ass. Not a soul could tell me any of these other games are awesome and shouldn't be down here. They are rotten. Overall, I think Metacritic has a solid list this time around. The Batman Dark Tomorrow discovery was definitely my favorite part, and make sure to leave your thoughts about the list in the comments. Do you agree with it, or are there other games you think should be here? If you somehow made it to the end, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out my last video on a very sad company that should never have released a game, but still did it anyways. As always, take very good care of yourselves, and I hope to see you all again in the next video.